Hello peeps, welcome back to my channel. Today I present to you a calligraphy video. I thought it would be fun to do calligraphy with all the kinds of pens and markers that I own. So Posca pens, Tombos, Copic markers, Crayolas, Sharpie, you name it, you know it, like all the kinds of pens I have, which are these, basically. So yeah, I'm gonna get cracking on with the calligraphy part of the video, shall we? So first of all, I am starting with my trusty beautiful Tombow dual brush pen with the brush pen part. Obviously, I am writing some basic letters like ABC, E, F, G, H, I, you know, the drill. Some like cute letters. I really like this for brush calligraphy, but I have to say the tips get soft really easily and the precision in the fine lines gets a little bit compromised during the time. But apart from that, great colors, and they are super nice for beginners to learn brush calligraphy on, but keep in mind that the more you use them, they get wear off really quickly. Now onto my trusty Copic sketch markers, again with the brush nib. These are not as runny on the paper, especially on this paper, which is the paper I use to do illustration with Copics. They are harsher against the paper, so they are not as fluid as the Tombos are, but I like the consistency on the tip of the brush nib, which is always very sturdy and doesn't get mushy and fluffy over the time. This is one of my Tombow Fudenosuke, and this has a dual brush nib. One is black and one is gray. I really like this for smaller brush calligraphy when, for example, for my bullet journal, the consistency of the nib is also pretty great, although I haven't used it as much as the other Tombows, but so far so good, and the thickness and thinness of the line, the contrast is real great. This is a Crayola Super Tip, which is not exactly a brush nib, but it works great to do the contrast between thin upper strokes and thicker down strokes. If you have Crayola Super Tips, they are a pretty good alternative to do brush calligraphy-ish, although it's not a brush, it would be kind of a fake brush calligraphy, I guess, but nonetheless, they work awesome and budget-friendly as well. Now moving on to one of my Posca pens. This is the 5mm nib, and it does the effect of a monoline calligraphy, like if you used a inking pen with the round end, you would get this type of calligraphy, which is a monoline style, which is great with Poscas because they have a really round and uniform nib, and you don't really get thin strokes or thick strokes with that. So I really like the style of this one. This is a Copic marker, the normal ones with the chisel nib and fine liner tip, and in this case I'm using the chisel nib, and I am doing kind of a squarish style of calligraphy, which would be more similar to the style of Gothic calligraphy, but not remotely alike, because this is more like brush style, but you know, like the square lines are more approximate to Gothic calligraphy in this case, and you would get it also with a square pen, inking pen. Now this is like a typical Sharpie, and I would also consider that this has the effect of monoline calligraphy because, again, the tip is pretty round and you don't get the thin and thick strokes effect as you do with maybe the Copics or the Tombos. And now this is a Faber-Castell brush pen in black, and when I bought this, the nib was super crisp and the fine lines were amazing, but with the use over the weeks, it really got so feathery and the quality of the lines was not as great as in the beginning. It deteriorated pretty fast, so I wouldn't use this for calligraphy at all, honestly. This is another one of my Posca pens. This is the 3M nib one, and again it's pretty similar to the first one but slightly thinner, and it also gives a pretty good monoline effect, which is nice. I also love the fact that these are super opaque and it's a really cool effect. And now this is the last of the Copic markers. This is the Copic gel marker, which is the cheapest kind of the Copic markers. And it's basically the same as a sketch marker. And the consistency on the nib is basically the same. I just wanted to showcase these Copic as well. This is one of my Sakura Pigma Microns in the 01 point nib. It's obviously super fine, it's a fine liner, duh, but I don't know, I just wanted to try doing brush quote-unquote calligraphy with this because I have never done this style of letter with this fine liner, and I thought it would be interesting, and it doesn't look that bad, honestly. And I'm saying honestly so much in this video, I don't know why. Weird, I'm sorry. And this is my Tombow Funowski with the hard tip. I don't know, I'm not in love with this one for brush calligraphy. I don't know why. Neither the hard tip or the soft tip are my favorites for brush calligraphy. I think I haven't got the hang of these yet. I think I need to practice more with these, but the contrast on the lines is pretty nice, I must say, if I can say so myself. And this is again a Tombow Funowski, but this time the soft nib, and I need to repurchase this because it's running out of ink and it looks a little bit, you know, not that great, but you know, you gotta work with what you have. And again, this is not my favorite either, but I think it's because I haven't practiced with this one as much as I have with the others. And last but definitely not least, another Posca pen, which is, if I am not mistaken, the 1MR nib, which is one of the thinnest ones. And again, as I said with the other Posca pens, it gives a monoline effect, but I think it's closer to the Sakura Pigma Micron actually because it's so fine. But it looks good anyway, you know? So, this is the end of this calligraphy video. I sincerely hope you enjoyed it. I sure had fun doing it because I discovered new ways of doing calligraphy with my pens I have never tried before. So, you know, like, comment, subscribe, you know the drill with that, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!